Over the past couple of years, very few devices have caught my attention the way the original Lenovo Yoga Book did. You see, it was unlike anything that I had seen up to that point because it was unlike anything else in the market. It was this sort of tablet that was also this sort of laptop, but the most important thing was that it was a breath of fresh air. However, it wasn't without its flaws. You see, it severely lacked the performance or ports that a proper laptop needed, and it also came with a keyboard that was probably the most frustrating thing I have ever used. Trust me, that Halo keyboard that I was using drove me nuts. But not just in a bad way. Yes, I was still making a bunch of typos on it even after a few weeks of using it, but it's also such an innovative new take on a tried and tested form factor that, as you can tell, I still haven't stopped talking about it. But because the Lenovo Yoga Book was such an impractical device, it was a very hard one for me to recommend. Back then, the best I could say was just wait for the next one. But the next one had its work cut out for it, because not only did it have to be better, did it have to give you more, it also had to not sacrifice on the magic that made the original so special. A tall order, definitely, but I was excited to see what Lenovo had in store. Which is why I'm super excited because the Lenovo Yoga Book 2 is finally here. Well, not here, but here, Malaysia here. And I got to spend a quick minute with it. Okay, before we begin, it's not called the Lenovo Yoga Book 2. It's called the Yoga Book C930, but it is very much the successor to the original Yoga Book, and it retains a lot of what I liked with that first-gen device. Only it gets more, or more specifically, it gets two big upgrades that the first Yoga Book desperately needed. The first upgrade is under the hood. While the old device had this weak sauce Intel Atom processor, the new one can be configured to feature up to an Intel Core i5 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of internal storage. Yes, it's still a Y series processor, but in my short time with it, the difference in performance was palpable. Plus, Lenovo also gave it a slightly larger 10.8-inch Quad HD touchscreen and an IR fingerprint scanner so that it is that much more practical. The second major update is with the keyboard. While the old device had this Wacom digitizer that also doubled as a touch-sensitive keyboard, the new one uses a full-on e-ink display, something like what you'd find from an e-reader. What this means is that you get a lot more flexibility because now you can also read documents on it and also draw directly onto the surface. And it also maintains that same kind of texture that I really liked from the first generation book, so props there. But the most important thing for me is that I think that it works better as a proper keyboard too. You have a lot more space now, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that on the new Yoga Book, the trackpad stays hidden until you need it. That means you get a lot more space for larger, more forgiving keys, and the difference is definitely noticeable. After 5 minutes with the new Yoga Book, I was already making fewer typos than after 2 weeks with the original Yoga Book. Plus, now that it's a screen, the keyboard can also dynamically change its layout depending on the language that you're typing in. But does that mean it's finally a good keyboard? It's kind of hard to say right now, but I will say this. Although I think it is a big improvement over the previous generation keyboard, I still don't think that it is as good as a proper keyboard. But of course, the Lenovo Yoga Book C930 isn't without its flaws. That e-ink display, for example, has quite a bit of delay on it, and for some reason, Lenovo decided to remove the 3.5mm headphone jack. The trade-off is that you get two USB-C ports now, but what a sad world it would be for wired headphone users if even laptops don't come with 3.5mm headphone jacks anymore. So what do we have here? Did Lenovo make a worthy successor that both gave us more, but also not sacrifice on the magic that made me like the original Yoga Book so much? Well, let's look at the facts. This is still definitely a yoga book. It's unmistakably a yoga book. And there is still nothing quite like it in the market right now, outside of maybe a couple of concepts. It still retains that excellent form factor and that amazing watch band hinge, but now you get more. You get more performance, you get more screen, you get more keyboard, you get more laptop. Oh, and did I mention that Lenovo also included a little quality of life update that helps you open the laptop a little easier? 2 knocks on the top lid and it will pop open so that you can just lift the top up easily rather than pry it open like a Neanderthal. You can also use the stylus to tap on it if you want to feel like a wizard. Very nice. So yes, without having given this a full review, it sure as hell looks like Lenovo has done a good job with this sequel. But there are still a couple of nagging concerns, like how well the performance will hold up over time and how much Lenovo Malaysia will price it. And then there's that keyboard, which I don't think I'll ever be able to type at full speed on. But that's it for my first impressions. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you have anything to say, leave them as a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell icon. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and keep your browser locked to searchinchow.com for the most refreshing servings of tech news. I'm Rory, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!